Hi everyone, this is Mario Quintero once again with the One Stop Shop, produced by marioshomenews.com. Today I'm very pleased to introduce you to Armando Paz Jr. with Diversified Employer Benefits. He's one of our referral partners and he's coming here today to give us some very good information about employee and employer benefits. Armando, thanks for stopping by.
Great having me, buddy.
No, it's my pleasure to have you here. Thank you. So, Armando, let's start by how long you've been in the business and what are some of the different divisions of your business, that products that you offer?
Mario, I started the industry on May 9th, 1984.
Wow.
And I started as an underwriter trainee for a company called Kemper in the property and casualty side. I was more of a trainee for commercial lines of insurance and business auto. And I kind of stayed in the business throughout all these years simply because I loved it. But it wasn't until about 25 years ago that I started having more of a love towards the financial services side.
Okay.
And then working for one of the insurance carriers, I met the love of my life and mom of my 3-year-old daughter.
Oh boy.
And we've made a great partnership. I sequestered her completely from United Healthcare and brought her over to the light side, and we've got a great thing going by the grace of God.
Very good to hear.
Yeah.
So today we're going to focus on the financial services division that you talked about of your business, and what kind of products does that actually include?
Mario, it's a great question. Our agency, we are a 2-person shop, if you will, okay? And our infrastructure is small, but we work with different brokers. My wife, or my much better half, is scary brilliant in one side of the industry, which is the group health and employee benefits. That was her expertise at United Healthcare. And then my side was always more on the financial services side, dealing with the businesses because our niche market were businesses. Your original question was, what were we doing with regards to financial services side for employers? I think it's kind of like a great segue entry into one of the things that we've been focusing on for a long time now, which is basically solving that problem that most employers have, which is called attraction, retention, and where there's another phrase to involve with that, but it's basically how to actually make sure that you're attracting the proper talent, employee talent. We want to retain them and we want to reward them. That's the third portion. And a lot of times employers, they come to me and they tell me, Armando, you know what? Between the group health insurance industry that's killing us, between our liability and our property, and every year it goes up, we want to do more for our employees, but we really don't know what and or how, because our budget is right now that small. So one of the things that we focus on is actually solving that problem. How can we attract that employee? How can we retain that employee and reward that employee with as little to no out-of-pocket outlay for the employer? And that's a key thing in our practice. And it can be done. It's done every day, by the way.
Okay, so we're going to get into that a little more deeply. But at this point, if we have an employers or HR people out there that are watching, what is the best number to reach you if somebody wants a consultation with you to discuss some of these employer benefits?
You may reach us at 786-592-1118, which is our office. And if you really need to get a hold of me on the phone, I am extremely accessible. You can reach me on my cell at 786-306-4587.
Okay. So, Armando, let's focus in on the employee benefits at no cost to the employer. Tell us a little bit about that, because I think that's a very important point.
Two types of, great question, Martin. There's two types of benefits. There is a benefit called a contributory benefit, where the employer actually has some skin in the game. The employer is actually paying for a portion or all of that benefit. Case in point, group health insurance. Where in the state of Florida, okay, if an employer wants to offer group health insurance to his employees, okay, the firm is actually obliged to contribute up to a minimum of 50% of the employee-only premium. Okay, so as you've seen, the health insurance crisis in the United States doesn't seem to be going away, and much less here in the state of Florida. So the employers are now facing with that 50% going up and up and up and up, and so are the employees, by the way. But then the one issue that a lot of times does not get answered is, how do we offer, besides the group health benefits, how do we offer other benefits to make sure that this employee is not going to go away. One of them, and we'll refer back on a future conversation today, is I want to make sure as an employer, and I'm sure your employers out there can agree, I want to make sure that my employee, if God forbid something happens to that employee, if they get sick or hurt, which is really our greatest threat, what happens to their cash flow? What happens to their ability to actually fund to completion whatever plan they have for retirement, whatever plan they have for their lives? So one of the things that the employer can actually offer is really cash flow protection to that employee in the form of a disability insurance policy. It's offered in many ways. It's offered as a group plan, as a group benefit, and it's also offered as a group benefit on an individual side. And on that individual side, it's a far greater benefit. The employer doesn't really pay for anything, but guess what? The employee can only obtain this benefit at that employer, usually from a 15 to as much as a 25% discount.
So we're going to get a little more deeply into the cash flow protection policies, but before we get into that, excuse me, we have a little technical situation here today. But before we get into that, we deal with a lot of elderly, and we've been doing reverse mortgages since 2002, and I understand that your company has specific benefits for elder care and some of the topics that are affecting seniors and baby boomers today. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Absolutely, Mario. Some of the things, and there's a lot of great planners out there doing this, but I guess the greatest challenge that we see for my generation, for our generation, the baby boomer generation, is that we control over $15 trillion of money, but how much planning have we really done to actually make sure that when every day becomes Saturday during our retirement plan, as we talked about, that we don't outlive our money? Well, the one thing that needs to be addressed is that health side. And yes, Medicare comes in, Medicare pays for a portion of that, all right? But what happens to those things that Medicare does not cover? Mm-hmm. What happens to the point where we lose our abilities to dress by themselves, to actually feed ourselves, to bathe ourselves? When we get into that situation, Mario, we right now have, it's called an activity of daily living, and we now get into the fear, that long-term illness type of threat that we fear. Who funds that? Well, most people say, no, Medicare will fund for that. And I go, no, Medicare will not pay for that. You won't know that. Medicaid will take care of me. Well, here's the thing. Can Medicaid take care of you? Absolutely. But you're forced to spend down all of your benefits, all of your assets until you only have $2,000 in the bank. What happens after that? What happens to your family? What happens to that caregiver? Well, the answer to this, basically, the states have been so worried about this, Mario, that about 17 or 18 years ago, they did a partnership with insurance companies because they realized that it was Medicaid footing the bill. And the way you can now do that, where whatever your nest egg is, you can actually save it, is by the purchase of a long-term care insurance policy. And if we ever have another meeting today, I look forward to this. I'm going to actually show ways in which you can almost have what I call a double whammy, a great double benefit to tax savings, because it can be funded with different vehicles. But as we talked about now, long-term care is the biggest challenge that we face in this country, and how to deal with it. So the moment to actually purchase long-term care insurance is basically when you are healthy. And the industry is now almost facing away, and there's many other vehicles being brought into, but the bottom still remains. We need to protect our nest egg for retirement, number one. And also, we need to be fair to our loved ones, because the statistics are that our wives, the women, become the number one, the number one service provider for that person. Who protects the caregiver? And that's one of the things that we work with a lot of firms in showing them how to actually strategically save money and strategically save money on taxes. And not only that, guard that retirement nest egg. And it's done through a long-term care insurance.
Okay. So as we start wrapping this up here today, our discussion, can you talk a little bit more about the cash flow protection?
Mario, the greatest question that was ever posed to me as a professional when I started this industry, a gentleman stood up and he basically said, right across the street of the table from me, and he goes, Armando, what plans do you have right now to protect your cash flow, okay, so that you can actually fund your entire retirement portfolio to completion, all right, and protect that cash flow against being sick or hurt, which is really our greatest threat. And you know, they teach people products, and a lot of brokers and a lot of insurance agents out there, when they come in on board these insurance companies, they're taught to promote products. That's the way, unfortunately, I learned. This gentleman actually switched my way around, because it's really not about a product. It's about protecting the number one thing that we have, that makes sure that this is paid for, that makes sure that our retirement plans are paid for, our kids go to college, and that is cash flow. Because Mario Quintero and Armando Paz is Mario Quintero Inc. and Armando Paz Inc. How do we protect that ability to make a dollar? You do that through a vehicle, okay, called disability insurance. And disability insurance can be purchased for a very small amount of money, okay, and properly planned. It can actually take care of 96% to completion of whatever your financial plan is for the rest of your life. So think about it. If you were told that with 2% or with 3 cents out of the dollar, you can actually take care of 96 to 97% of your retirement plans to completion, would that be a proper investment?
Sure.
That's what was asked to me at that time, Mario, and that's what actually that became my why, my second why. I'll share with you at another moment what my first why was. It was for actually protecting cash flow, because I saw people actually walking out of businesses or being laid off because they were sick. Mm-hmm. It's illegal, but it happens. Mm-hmm. Okay, how do we do that? Well, one of the things that we do it for businesses, and we also do it for individuals. But we show business owners, going back to your initial question, we show business owners how to not only provide it for themselves, how to provide it to their employees at no cost, and at a savings where the employee cannot get it for himself or for herself individually at that discount.
Okay.
Did that answer your question?
It answers the question. So, what is the best number for our viewers to reach you?
You can reach our office again at 786-592-1118 and speak to my beautiful, much better half, Jackie, or you may reach me also at 786-306-4587.
Armando, thank you very much for stopping by here today.
Thank you, Mario, for giving me the time.
I know that we've talked about doing this for a while. Sorry about the little technical difficulties on the screen. And, folks, this has been another segment of our referral partners, Armando being one of them. He's a member of the Greater Kendall Business Association, has a lot more information than we were able to discuss today, and he'll probably be coming back for a second episode. But this was another presentation of the One Stop Shop, produced by MariosHomeNews.com, your real estate and mortgage consultant for life. So thank you very much, Armando.
Thank you for having me.
We'll do it again.
Thank you for having me. Yes, sir.
Happy Thanksgiving.
You too, buddy.